In this part, we want to import Google Fonts. How should we do this? We have two fonts in this design. If you look at this part, you'll see that the name of the font is Playfair Display. And there is another font here, which is Ubuntu. Both of these are Google fonts and are free. From Google Font, its website, you can import them into your project. So we either have Playfair Display that you can see here, or the Ubuntu font. The Playfair Display is for the headings, that is H1 to H2, these are for these. As you can see, our headings are like these, and for our paragraphs, Ubuntu is used. That is, for normal texts, Ubuntu is used. These you see here. But for H1 to H6 headers, Playfair Displays is used here. As it's shown here, for example, the font is again Playfair Display. But this part, it's Ubuntu. So we have these two fonts and want to import them into our project. I have already opened these on Google Font website. You can go there to search and find them. One of them is Ubuntu, and the other one is Playfair Display, which you can see here. In order to add these, there is an option called Select the Style. Click on it. We select the different styles: italic, regular, medium, semi-bold, bold. Select all of them like this. We want to have all of them. There are different styles for it. Some are italic, some are extra bold, and it shows different styles. We click on this option, the import option. We can do two things. We can either import it like this, that is like a style sheet. Import the link there. That is, we can add it as a CSS file in our head tag, added here. I am going to use the second way, which is the way of importing. I will copy this, the import part of it, and then go here and create a file named fonts.scss, like this, and import the font here. As you can see, I have pasted it here. It is a font it gets from Google API. Its name is Playfair Display, and these are its weights: 400, 500, 600, 700, and so on. It completely imports the font here. Now we need to import this into our main file. The place for it is right under reset. So we add it immediately after reset, named fonts, which points here. Now let's use it. How can we use it? Let's say font family Playfair, like this. And this comma is also here, which says that if Playfair doesn't exist, use serif. Okay, let's go and create a file. All our headings are H1 tags. Please note that this is H1, this is H2, and again, this here is H2, this is H4. All our headings use this font. The one that you see here is not an H tag. This is an exception. It is a text, a paragraph, but still it uses Playfair Display. For now, we ignore this exception. However, all our headings are H1, and for all of them, H1 must be used like this. What we are going to do is we will create a file named typography, so that we can put all of these rules there publicly. Our H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. What are they all? The font family for all of them is Playfair Display. Where did I get this from? From this part. I copied this part and pasted it here. And this comma says that if this doesn't exist or didn't load for any reason, use a default serif font. So from our design, we found out that all of the H tags, that is our headers from H1 to H6, all use Playfair display font. As a result, we put them in the typography file publicly. And what should we do with this typography file? We import it. Now, let's test it to see what it looks like. If I use an H1 like this and go here to see the result, see, it will be Cheetah Academy. What is its font? Note that the font is Playfair. If I uncheck this, the font changes. Thus, we change this font to Playfair. Now, if I use an H2, see, it will change this to H2 like this. Again, the font for this is H2 is Playfair Display. This is because we told it that the font for all of our H tags from H1 to H6 should be this. Now, what should we do for the P tags? Please note that the font for the P tags should be Ubuntu. This is the Ubuntu font. What we should do with this Playfair Display, we remove it. Now, like what we did for Playfair Display, we will do the same for Ubuntu. We will add these one by one to our list here and add the different styles to it. Next, we will import this as well in this part. The one above is Playfair Display and the one below is Ubuntu, and its weights have all been imported. Now, because we have already imported this in this file in main.scss here, we have the access to it in typography. Since this is higher, we have access to it in typography. In typography, what should the font family be for our P tags? The font family should be Ubuntu. If not, it should be sans serif. This is the rule that it has set itself, as you can see here. I should also mention the difference between sans serif and serif. It was sans serif here, and in Playfair Display, if we also add Playfair Display, it is serif in Playfair Display and sans serif in Ubuntu. Serif fonts are the fonts that have sharp edges with a slight projection. If I zoom in here, you can see the projections for serif fonts. However, sans serif fonts, which means without serifs, and Ubuntu is one of them, don't have these projections and don't have sharp edges, as you can see in this picture. Now you can see the difference between them. So it says because Playfair Display is a serif font and has projections, if it doesn't exist, replace it with a serif font. However, because Ubuntu is a sans serif font, if it doesn't exist, and replace it with a sans serif font, as you can see here. Now, if I type a P tag here, I will write paragraph here and I'll give it a font size 2 and in line with a value of, for example, 60 pixels. See, if I click on it, you will see in the information here exactly, you will see that the font is Ubuntu, and if you take a look at this part too, the font is Ubuntu. If I uncheck this, see the font changes and uses the default for the browser, and when I check it again, the Ubuntu file will be used, and you can see we added the font to it.